I not surprised to find it was a video from none other than Coast to Coast AM. I have had many rants on Coast to Coast AM for offering them as the single worst source credibility and open pit mine of unadulterated horseshit on the internet working today. I started off my headline rant this very morning with last night's unadulterated horse shit Coast to Coast AM show. So anyway, I made it about 5 minutes into this 44-minute deluge of unadulterated horse shit, and in those first 5 minutes, none of these people were ever mentioned, but it so happens that I recognize two of these names, Eugene Malov and Dorothy Stang. And so this is the email I sent to my chemtrail rabbit hole dweller, and you will notice that there have been 105,000 hits on this video, 1,382 people agreeing with it, 67 questioning it. This was since my link to thumbs up and thumbs down is no longer working on YouTube. So I couldn't press the thumbs down, but this was my response to my chemtrail wacko title. I titled my response, "I don't lower myself to debating coast to coast." I have had many rants about Coast to Coast AM, including my leadoff story this very morning. I have also had rants on Eugene Malov and Dorothy Stang in the past, however, in which the word chemtrail was never mentioned. And then I set the record straight. Eugene Malov was killed by Big Oil because he was promoting energy sources that threatened Big Oil's bottom line, not because he believed in chemtrails, assuming he did, which I doubt. Moving along. Dorothy Stang was murdered by the beef cattle barons of Brazil, as was Chico Mendes and thousands of other environmental activists in Latin America going up against the Planet Eaters. Not because she believed in chemtrails, assuming she did, which I doubt. I am not familiar with the third person mentioned here, this Latin-named woman who I'll talk about in a minute, but by the name alone, I am assuming that she, like Dorothy Stang, was murdered by one of the usual suspects in Latin America, and her death had nothing to do on any level with her belief in chemtrails, which, of course, I doubt she believed in. And blah, blah, blah. So anyway, my guess, as I mentioned to my friend who just apparently watched this coast-to-coast video and was satisfied with the information, my guess is that about 2 minutes of research would confirm this fact that this woman was probably some sort of environmental activist. So anyway, I went in and plugged in, I Googled Juventina Villa Mojica. And in fact, it did not take me 2 minutes of research It took me about 20 seconds when I came up with this Huffington Post article from about a year ago. Juvenita Villa Mojica, environmental activist shot and killed in Mexico. A band of gunmen killed an environmental activist who had received death threats for standing up to drug gangs and had a police guard when she was ambushed in southern Mexico. Juventina Villa Mojica, whose husband and two children were killed last year, died in a hail of bullets along with her 10-year-old son. And let's see. Villa and her late husband, Ruben Santana Alonso, had led for more than 20 years a group of farmers in the village of La Laguna. The area is riddled by drug traffickers who have been seeking to expand their marijuana and opium poppy fields. Quote, this is before she, this is that human rights activist. Quote, it is a virgin area with rich forest areas, and the main interest of drug traffickers is cutting down the trees so that once it is deforested, they can expand their drug fields, close quote. Drug gangs began targeting her and her husband and their extended family after they refused to allow drug traffickers to cut down trees near their village. I need to do a rant about the environmental devastation being wreaked by marijuana growers. I need to take a long, hard look at my lifestyle and consumer choices and come at you with a rant on that. But that is another rant. This is a rant about chemtrail whack jobs. And then, again, right under that article, I found this article. So it did not take me 2 minutes to debunk that horseshit video. Now I was about 30 seconds into debunking it. I love the name of this. Metabunk.org. Metabunk.org, looking at this horseshit claim that 3 chemtrail scientists murdered. Okay, this is a fellow named Steve Funk who also took on the challenge. Okay, this story, 3 chemtrail